Hello, friends and fellow moms, and welcome to the 13th episode of the Moms on the Air podcast. I'm your host, Katie Mahon. I'm joined by my co host and daughter, Maddie Mahon. And today's episode is one that I'm very grateful for, as we are going to discuss a topic that has caused me a little bit of anxiety lately. How the heck do you travel with kids? I am going away with my daughter relatively soon, and the thought of her packing list has made me nervous. I don't know what to bring, what to do. I mean, how can I pack a sterilizer? How can I pack, her bathtub? Anyways, to help me figure this out, as well as give advice to other moms who might be traveling this summer with little ones, I am happy to welcome my friend Angela Thurston, who is a cruise connoisseur and has a lot of experience. So, Ange, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you again. And I do apologize in advance if you hear my dog barking.
It's all good.
Hold on one second. Let me mute him again because my mom's walking through the door. Hold on one second.
And for our listeners, this is real motherhood life.
Yes,
often
barking
you
dogs, baby on the
hear a kid crying.
Yep,
or
real life. So I have done quite a few trips with Eliana, and with my oldest, we actually used to fly with her a lot. Recently, first time traveling with Eliana, we drove to Florida, went to Disney World. Mm-hmm. That was quite an experience. And then we went on a Disney cruise with Eliana. So things that I like to pack and things that are lifesavers. I have many things.
So I'm going on a cruise with this one. What do I need to bring?
Okay. So I have these trusty, these are takeout containers. And I take a couple with me and I keep them in my diaper bag when I travel with Eliana anywhere. I usually have one every day when I'm not traveling abroad. But if I'm like going to the store, going out to dinner, going to a friend's house, whatever, I always have one of these. So when I do travel on cruises, this one's a little bit different. If you're going on a cruise, you can bring your own food. They just need to be factory sealed.
Okay.
You can't bring your own baby food. Confiscate that in a heartbeat.
So they won't let you bring baby food?
Yeah, you can bring baby. This is baby. Well, these are pouches.
Okay. No, so just as long as they're sealed.
As long as they're factory sealed. Like this one's a Sammy Jammy little sandwich. We have crackers. But this particular box is a little different. I always pack, and this is a pro mom tip, Pedialyte. These are little packets of Pedialyte, electrolyte powder, God forbid, because you're not used to traveling with your child, and they're not used to probably being in hot climates, dehydrated a lot quicker. So if they do start showing signs of dehydration, or you feel they're going to start getting dehydrated a lot easier, because sometimes they're going to be fussy. They might not want to eat when you eat. I recommend one of these. I haven't used one, but in the event, if anything should happen, that she gets sick, she gets diarrhea, or she has a fever, I have something that makes mommy feel better about rehydrating her. If we plan to go off the ship, which I haven't, if you're going to be on a long excursions, you don't know what the environment's going to be like. Are they going to have air conditioning at these excursions? If it's something like chocolate making demonstration, of course they're going to have air conditioning because you don't want the chocolate to melt. But if you're other excursions, like, visiting like these art galleries or the ruins of something, you don't know if you're going to have availability or an opportunity.
Yeah, that's a great tip, because we just started trying to transition her to regular milk and kind of trying to introduce different juices or water into the phase. And she's not passionate about anything yet except for milk.
Mom's milk. Yes. And the thing is, if you are pumping and breastfeed, you can bring your own pump equipment with you. You can bring sterilizers. They will also, clean bottles for you if you really want. I do have a travel, which I couldn't find. It's probably in a suitcase somewhere. a travel bottle cleaner with a little rack so I can clean my own bottles in our stateroom.
Hmm.
Um, Also, another thing I've noticed on my last cruise that the utensils were really big, even for me. So if you're, Eliana is a toddler, she's trying to learn how to self feed with utensils.
Hmm.
Bring toddler size utensils because they don't even have like the smallest spoon they have is a teaspoon for, maybe for your coffee, but even then it's still pretty big.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. What about bath essentials too? I'm have just given her baths mostly. Is it time to introduce her to the world of showering?
Well, one thing about showering with an infant, they are slippery when soapy. So nothing like, and that's okay. I want to say on our last cruise, we actually didn't need a booster or anything. You can call your cruise line and ask if they have something you can put your kid in, or
Okay.
they might actually have an option for a blow up seat that you can use.
Okay, that'd be great.
Yeah, Eliana now she's mine is old enough that she stands up. I can give her a little bath in our cruise ship that we had, it actually had a regular bathtub and it was fine. She didn't slip and slide anywhere. She was having a lot of fun with her toys. So, another thing what you can do, depending on the cruise line, you can ask them for a diaper genie and a crib or a porta potty. I mean,
Wow.
a porta crib. A
I
porta crib.
knew about the pack and play, but I didn't know about the diaper genie. That would be amazing if that could.
Yes. I was surprised when I went on my last cruise. When we got there, I called in advance saying I might need a crib or a pack and play, and they said we'll see what we have available when you get on there because they had both.
Yeah.
And we met our room steward, and he was very sweet. Came up and he's like, I see you have a baby, and I said, can we have a pack and play? And he's like, oh, and would you like a diaper genie? I said
Of
yes.
course.
And this steward was so forthcoming. He even set up the bottom couch part of the bed as a toddler bed with a rail, which we didn't use, but because Eliana wasn't quite there yet with sleeping in the
Yeah.
big girl bed. But it was great. I mean, the diaper genie thing, awesome.
Yeah. No, I am definitely taking notes of that. Um, what are some tricks and trades from your experience about adapting a baby to like a cruise schedule?
Cruise scheduling. Well, it also depends on what the baby's nap schedule is. It could be a little bit difficult because sometimes you want to go out and explore the lounges and all the fun stuff, but your baby wants to nap. That's okay. You can put your baby down for the scheduled nap. Make sure you bring their loveys or any particular thing that they're used to having at nap time.
Mhm.
I actually brought Eliana's her own. I brought her own pack and play sheet because I know that is something she's familiar with. To make her environment as comfortable as possible, I brought her pack and play sheet. It's got its own pattern on it and everything because that's what we used for. And I actually brought a regular sheet that she's used to also.
Okay, no, that's a
And
great
I
tip.
ended up using the pack and play sheet. And even though Disney was nice, they gave us our own like little Mickey. I was like, no, 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 mine's better. And I know she's familiar with it. The smells, because babies they sleep on their faces sometimes, and they recognize their own the scent that they're familiar with.
Yeah.
Um, I'm
So
not.
you kind of touched on this a little bit before, but besides like asking for items, helpful items, how can, cruise lines make it easier to travel with a baby?
I think offering those things that you need in advance and providing a list of things that you could ask for. I
Hmm.
think that's how a cruise line can improve. Saying, hey, if you need this, or you have a child who has handicap needs, we have these things available. Having those, I was shocked that they had a pack and play or a crib or the diaper genie in the first place.
Yeah. No, I know we
Even,
definitely have a pack in like a porta crib
yeah.
for her, so I'm definitely going to be taking advantage. The one thing I'm a little bit nervous about is the bottles with because I'm used to sterilizing them and
I
yeah.
mean, I used to wash my own. As far as sterilizing, it depends on the cruise line. I know I know in our cabins we don't have microwaves,
Yeah.
but it's not an uncommon thing. I mean, I know you could buy those little sterilizers for just like nipples and for pacifiers. They're like $20 either on Amazon or online. And they're just black light ones.
Okay. No, that's good to, yeah, that's good to
I
know.
think that was on, didn't you have one of those on your registry?
No, I did, but I was talking more for like the bottle, but that's a good call. And yeah, so any tips on, things, how to take advantage of, things that the cruise offers to, enjoy your trip while making sure your baby's happy as well?
Well, I took advantage of the nursery. On Disney Cruise Lines, they actually was first you get on the ship and they have an open house for the kids clubs and the nursery. I took advantage of doing the open house and seeing what the nursery was like, speaking to the counselors. And these counselors, man, are they certified? Every certification globally they have. They have to meet all these standards and, they're CPR certified. They know how to work with children with special needs. The nursery on the cruise line I went on at Disney, they only take children up to age 3.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so they are able to keep them in the same groups. So I blocked certain times before I even got on the ship of, maybe taking advantage of the nursery if I felt comfortable. And I went to the open house. I felt completely comfortable. And then I asked if I could rearrange some of the times and maybe get more hours because they kind of limit you at first of how many hours you can take advantage of.
Sure.
So on Disney, I thought it was reasonable, $9 an hour
You
to
can't
watch
beat
my
that.
child. To watch my child. We were allowed to bring bottles, and we left. You're supposed to leave the diaper bag because your child needs their own diapers, their own wipes, their own backup pair of clothing in case they get dirty. With my snacks, we have these container of snacks I leave, but they let me know that anything with nuts, which is something Eliana likes, she likes Nutella as a special treat.
Smart choice.
But they take it out because it's nuts, and they're very cautious of children's allergies. So anything that a child could be allergic to, they ask you to remove it in advance. So I thought that was great that they even checked the diaper bag because I completely forgot I had a Nutella something, a crepe in there for her. And knowing, and Eliana being a high-strung toddler, she wasn't okay right away. After like 15 minutes of us dropping her off, I guess she head-butted because she was going through this phase of head-butting. She hurt herself. They paged us and they said, "Can you please call the nursery?" And we found a phone. We called them and they said, "She's okay, but she did this and she might have a little bruise." I go, "Do we need to come pick her up? Are you guys okay?" And they're like, "No, we can still, she's fine now. She's sitting on so-and-so's lap and they're reading a story. They're doing puppets or whatever." So my child was very occupied. They let me know right away if something was a problem. I mean, even when we checked in, they actually had us fill out a sheet of what we dropped her off with, if she needed to be fed, if she needed a bottle.
Mhm.
They were more than happy to give her, milk and everything because they always have that available. If you had breast milk, you could drop off breast milk. And they have refrigerators for that for the babies until it was time to give it. They're very scheduled, very supportive with the toddlers.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And you've given me such great insight already, for preparing for our trip. And is there any other advice you'd like to share with moms who are preparing for vacation, whether it be taking a long drive or,
Long
a
drives. I got
cruise?
one of those too. Nothing like having a blowout diaper long drive. That happened to us one trip. Chuck's pads, keep them in your car. These things are great. Cut a hole,
That's a
put a
great.
slit in them. Because on our last trip back from Disney, blowout diaper, so we had to pull over to rest stop, and as Bella, my oldest, and I tried cleaning her up, James had to have the dirty job of cleaning out the car seat. And to make sure that there was no other residents or closeness, I had a Chuck's pad ready to go with a slit cut into it so I could pull the seatbelt through it. Hi, Maddie. And so Eliana could sit in something relatively clean on the way back. Also, a change of backup clothes, because if there's in a Ziploc, because if you have a dirty, soiled outfit, you're going to want to rinse it out, put it in the Ziploc so you can deal with it later. Also, for long trips or even going on cruises, educational toys. This is one of our favorites. It's it sings songs. It's interactive. It definitely keeps them busy while you're at port or driving. It's great. Another trick, a pro tip, is if you're taking a stroller with you on the cruise, make sure it's a small, light one, because those hallways are narrow, and nothing's more frustrating when you have to go around people whose strollers are in the hallway when they're not supposed to, or people who are in scooters, or people who have special needs that you need that width. Also, elevators are very tight, so the smaller, lightweight stroller that you have, it's more beneficial. We found that we only used the stroller when we actually got onto the ship and when we were waiting onto the terminal. Once we got to our room, we didn't see it because the nursery was so close, the pool was so close, or the kids splash area, because children under a certain age, if they're not potty trained, they don't get to go into the pool, which is great. On the Disney cruise, they had like Toy Story themed splash area.
Okay, that's cool.
Another tip, if you are going to go take Maddie to the pool, these little water shoes protect little feet.
I never thought about that.
These protect little feet from getting, possibly scraped up when they're walking, around on the deck, or even when, you've been in a pool and you're like, how did I get a cut on my foot? And you realize you kind of scraped it on the bottom of the pool. So that's another thing we bring. Don't forget to bring, I'm sure you probably thought of it already, swimmy diapers.
Yep, I got those.
Swimmy diapers are great. And another thing to bring, and diaper rash cream, which is pretty standard, but some people do forget. And in case your child does get sick or does start to develop, a fever or something, bring your child's Tylenol and a syringe.
Okay, yeah. Good call.
Actually, Eliana, on the morning of our cruise, she was feeling a little warm. So we're like, oh, we got an 8-hour drive back. So we, and I felt like, I was like, you know what, she's not herself. I think she's going to need to, I think she might have a slight fever. So we gave her some Tylenol on the car ride back.
No, it helps.
It does help. And, bringing that conversion table is very helpful also.
So, Ange, I want to thank you so much for your time today, sharing your insight with us. As always, I appreciate you. You're helping my preparation for this week.
I do have one more tip.
Oh, please share.
So these little things aren't just for binkies. They're not just for pacifiers. We actually hook this on our stroller, and we hook Eliana's lovey to it because she has a tendency of throwing her lovey, and nothing like losing a favorite stuffed animal at a park or anything, and it's already attached to the stroller.
That's a good tip.
Yeah. And always take a picture if your daughter has a particular stuffed animal that she loves. Take a picture of it for anything, because if it does get dropped or lost, you have a picture of it to show lost and found.
No, that's a great tip. So, but anyways, thank you again. Hope you'll join us for a future episode. And for our listeners, thanks for tuning in today. I hope you'll join us for our episode next week. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, where we'll share our next guest. Thank you again for joining. And if you enjoyed today's episode, subscribe wherever you're listening. Give us a 5-star rating. Until next time, I'm Katie. This is Maddie, and we are the Moms on the Air podcast.